All right, now it's time for our conversation of the day. Now, over the years, Nollywood has been has done impressively well, and of course, we've shown that it's here to stay, and it's standing on its right footing, tall in spite of challenges. However, in the year 2024, the Nigerian film industry proved that it was heading to the very top with high-quality movies, storytelling that kept its audience glued to the screens. It experienced immense growth that most years of its life. Now, today we have Abimbola Ogunsoya. He's an award-winning Nigerian filmmaker. Through his short films, Abimbola provides an insight into the lives of the poor and marginalized in Nigeria. Abimbola was trained by renowned veteran filmmaker Tunde Kelani. His late father was the Nigerian musician and TV personality Yem, that's Ogunyemi Ogunsoya. Some of his awards include Best Documentary at the Goethe Institute, supported in Short Film Festival 2011 for his film Unique Fingers, a film about a small drum troupe. The film, If Only, which profiled the murder by a mob of a 12-year-old street child, was shortlisted and featured in the 2011 Al Jazeera International Documentary Awards. He also won Best Documentary at the Zuma Film Festival Abuja 2012 for his film I'm Talented, which profiled talented children whose talent was in danger of being thwarted by the poverty in which they live. Of course, he joins us now in the studio to talk more about the industry and, of course, his career. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, so we are used to seeing a lot of people in front of the cameras come here, but it's rare to see someone behind the cameras want to have an interview. We hear that a lot of people at the back end don't like being at the front, so don't like, showing their faces. Well, here you are. Thank you very much for coming. As a director, as a filmmaker of a huge repute. Now, tell us now, before we talk about yourself in the industry so far in 2024, many people believe that has had several wins. Recently, Funke Akindele's movie, AY's movie and the likes, got more money in cinemas than even The Lion King, Mufasa, in cinemas this year, and last year rather. So what do you think has led to the growth of the industry in 2024?
Well, basically, I'm going to say that the industry has actually done a lot for itself. And one of the things that I think actually helped with the industry trying to move into the next level was the fact that people were getting tired of some level of movies that we're making, because we had two set of movies that was running. We were doing the urban movies and we were doing the classics. And basically, by the time we came into board, okay, let me use Funke Akindele for example. Yeah. Most of the time when Funke attacks our business, our job, our films, she doesn't really attack them like movies. She takes them from a product perspective. She sees herself more as an entrepreneur. So she sees every little thing as a product that needs to be sold. Sometimes when I watch some of our movie, every scene can actually be turned into a whole movie in a Funke Akindele's movie. And when you see the level of advertisement, the level that she sees advertisement in our movie, she actually pushes a lot beyond most filmmakers. So, and most of the time, she's not even selling the movie. She's actually putting the movie at your face. Okay. So the same way every other product we advertise is the same way she's advertising. And she's taking it beyond the mark. And I think that's what most of the filmmakers right now are beginning to do. And that's why you see it getting better than what you see before in the previous years.
Okay, so for you, apart from Funke Akindele, we always say Funke Akindele because now she's a boss. But what other filmmakers made it for you? Made 2024, the film industry made it big for you?
Well, for me in 2024,
apart from yourself,
apart from myself, apart from Funke Akindele, I think every filmmaker actually made it for themselves in 2024, because at the beginning of the whole industry thingy, we had this situation whereby it was only the music industry that was thriving when it comes to entertainment. But they've forgotten that the movie end was there. But one of the things that was actually affecting at that moment was the fact that we were doing more urban movies, like the King of Boys and the rest of them. The moment King of Boys came out and it was classical and the rest of it, everybody just moved towards that direction. And towards the end of 2024, we saw the classics come in when Netflix came in, and that from Lisha B, Ga, and the rest of them. We saw Funkole Afolayan moving from the urban kind of movie, now doing the classicals, yes, the local traditional movies. Because one of the things that I feel actually affected the local traditional movies making edge is because you don't have an idea of the story. They are classics. And classics will always be classics anytime, any day. So for me, I think the evolution was actually what made it for me. And I'm going to give kudos to all the actors, kudos to all the filmmakers that actually created that revolution. Because it's not easy just moving from nothing to something.
So I liked how they used the word evolution and revolution and all. Last year was all about traditional movies, like you said, Jakun Jagun, Beasts of Two Worlds and the likes. What predictions do you have for 2025 for Nollywood?
Well, I think Nollywood now we really understand the business right now. We now see it as business. It's show business right now. So that means I can put in an amount of money and I can be sure of making profits. I'm not doing movies for art right now. I'm doing it as a business. We're beginning to see it as a business deal. When I'm coming on a set, I know what I'm coming there to do. I know the reason why I'm investing so much money. Now we can easily send a proposal to an investor. You can see companies coming to filmmakers and say, okay, let me use your film as a means of communication. Let me use it to reach out to people. Now, I see a lot of investment coming into the movie world right now. I see a lot of investment. The kind of things that you see in most of the foreign films that you don't get to see a product on a film unless it's being paid for. I see a lot happening in 2025 for Nollywood.
So like you have mentioned now, last year we saw a lot of classical movies come into the cinemas and gross a lot of earnings in cinemas. Do you think this is the way we should go, telling our own stories, not just in the Yoruba culture, but in other cultures as well?
Well, my boss, Babatunde Kilani, always taught me something. You can't tell a story better than the one you know. I can't tell a foreign story. I can only tell my story. And once I'm being built to understand what my story is all about, I can only tell it better than every other person. The Mufasa story and the rest of them, those are not our stories. We have the Obujuode, Nenubuludumare. We had classics. We had Lishabi. We had Ga. Ga was there from inception until it was made. So those are the kind of things that I feel that if we begin to tell our original stories, we'll go further than the international community. Because the international community wants to learn so much about us. We're Africans. And we should be able to tell our story the African way. And that's why I give a lot of credit to Netflix, making sure that the filmmakers go out of their comfort zone and go look for these classics. These classics are there. These stories are there. We lived in between these stories. These stories are our stories. So if nobody is going to come from abroad to come and tell my story, I can only tell my story better. Okay, so 7 Doors went to the cinema. Lisha B went to the cinemas. They were produced by men. Even some other movies like that, Adekule, right?
Yes,
Odunlade took his own movie to the cinemas as well, Femi Adebayo and all of that. But we see that the 3 horsewomen, I'll call them, Funke Akindele, Mercy Aigbe, and Toyin Abraham, went to the cinemas with their movies. Are we seeing a divide here? Or is it that women are more promoters, are better promoters than men, because men just want the easy route and go to Netflix and negotiate your deal and that's all?
And while you're answering that, all of the traditional movies that you mentioned, they're about men. What about the Moramis?
Okay, let me start from the first question. Let me start from the first question. Basically, I don't think there's a division here.
Okay.
It's who knows the business better. And who can sell the business better. And one of the things I think we all need to learn is learning from each other. I was telling somebody, I said, if you're going to be writing a book or you're going to be writing a thesis, anything that is going to build the industry right now, there are some basic people that we should begin to study. I don't have anything for Funke, but Funke is somebody that I've been able to idolize. I've been able to understudy over the years. I've been able to appreciate the amount of work she has put into her work as a filmmaker. I followed Funke Akinde from when she started the series.
The original Jennifer.
Not even the Jennifer. When she was still young.
Story.
Before even the Super Story.
That was campus movies.
Yes,
I need to know.
I followed Funke from I Need to Know to the present Funke. And I've seen the evolution. That's why when you begin to lash on with other names, I'll tell you, no, Funke is separate. Yeah. Funke is one school of thought. The others are another school of thought. The other guys are trying to play safe. Yes, they will play safe because basically they're not looking at it from the way Funke is looking at it. You understand me? Everybody loves Jennifer. Funke was actually putting that thing right in her face. You cannot breathe. You cannot.
You must watch.
You must.
You must.
It's a must that you have to just see her. And those are some of the things that I feel that some of the other filmmakers should imbibe into their projects. Because from the moment, from inception, from writing the script, she's beginning to see the marketing possibility. She's beginning to market even while writing the script. She knows, oh, I'm going to use this here. I'm going to use this person here. Why am I going to use a Latif for this character if I cannot market Latif? Those are some of the things that she puts into consideration. So if I'm going to put my money on you, then you should be able to sell my film. And those are some of the things that I think some of the guys are being careful about. At a point, while watching some of these movies, sometimes when I meet with some of them, I tell them, I say, guys, do you know one thing you guys are doing that is not really working? You're doing... There's this thing that everybody begins to call each other into a film. So it's like me watching one series, one long series. Same people. Until Femi did 7 Doors and introduced the new character, and I'm like, fantastic. Yeah. Now you're bringing other people into the game so that we don't get tired. It's not every time that we're filmmakers, though. Sometimes we're consumers too. We're viewers. Think of us from that perspective. And when we begin to look at it from that angle, we begin to understand where we're getting it wrong.
All right. So quickly, before we go, you have a new work out, Pedophile. What's it about?
Well, basically, Pedophile is about, you know, there is this thing that is actually going around everywhere about adults having intercourse with children. And these are things that have been there over the years, but now it's actually making the news. And I felt, okay, why do we have to just criticize these issues? Why not let's tell the story from another perspective? Let's look at it not as something we just talk about. It's actually a mental illness. It's actually a mental case. That when we look at the medical perspective, let's look at how we protect our children. Because most of these pedophiles are everywhere. You don't identify them. But the only way you and I can help each of these children is whenever they are pushing some of these things to us, always let's put some attention to it. And I feel my filmmaking style is using my film to be able to propagate. Yes, I don't have a pen to be able to write stuff, but I can change the world with my movies. And that's why I've started a campaign that, okay, instead of just criticizing each of these guys that are pedophiles, why not just try to help them?
Okay.
Let's try to help them. Let's see it as a mental case. Let's try to help these children. Whenever your child says, oh, somebody touched me, see it as an issue. Don't begin to see it like, oh, let's just discard it. Right.
There's another movie that you did called Why. Can you just give us a little summary of that?
Basically, Why was actually like a speechless movie. There was not one word being said in Why. And basically, one of the things I did with Why was just freaking out. I'm just freaking out on my own because I'm actually a trained director of photography by Babatunde Kilani. So I just wanted to use the camera to tell a story because I always feel the camera has a better way of telling the story even without saying words.
That's quite impressive. Thank you so much, Bimbo Ogusue, for talking to us.
Thank you so much
for coming.